There we go. Is that Roberta? Yeah.
So, thank you so much, Jackie. My name is Emabre Mugabo. I am a PhD candidate from Purdue University, Department of Agricultural Sciences, Education and Communication. So as we continue, yesterday you told me some classes you have been teaching. One was motivation, even there is another class you have been collaborating with other professors. So how to motivate students? How can help good faculty using different motivation theories to motivate students?
Well, that's an excellent question. I get it. I get asked it a lot. I think one of the things we have to understand, which we don't pay much attention to, is motivation is very personal. So what will motivate one student won't necessarily motivate the entire class. So you have to think systematically about, the teacher does, of what is the problem. If the students aren't motivated, and one would have to figure out what the teacher is using to make that judgment. My students are not motivated. And then one would need to think about, well, what might you do to either change the expectancies or to change the values? I mean, within expectancy-value theory, you will in fact try to work on those constructs. So how do you change? Utility value, it turns out, is a pretty easy thing to change. And there have been several studies that have shown that if you get the students to think about the utility value of what they're learning, they are more likely to think it's worth their time. So the cost goes down and the value goes up. So how can you make students think about that? Well, one of the things that they did at college and high school in science and STEM courses is to have the students 3 times a semester write a small short essay, so a couple of paragraphs, about what they think they learned. One of the ways that they think what they learned in the last week or the last 2 weeks is useful to them. And that could be useful in terms of themselves personally or useful to people they know. And they can write the paragraph in lots of ways. So we give lots of options. They could write a letter to the editor of a newspaper. They could write a letter to their mom. They could write a note to themselves. But they have to focus on, in what they write, how what they're learning is useful. Now most faculty, I mean, we were amazed. We've been in many classrooms. Faculty rarely talk about the usefulness of the information. In K-12 schools, they rarely talk about why one should know this. So it's not surprising that the students don't know why they should learn this. And if you don't know why, and it's hard, why would you waste your time on it? So that's one simple intervention, and it's extremely powerful. You could imagine taking that same idea and having students in the class, depending on the level, talk with each other about how it's useful. If they have phones, now that kids have phones, they can have conversations with each other on the phone about how is what they just learned useful. And they have to brainstorm on what they think it could be useful for. So in agriculture, is it going to help increase the crops? Is it going to decrease the likelihood that the crops will die if there's a drought? All kinds of things that the teacher could give them some ideas about. So rather than having them just quiz each other on the facts, they could actually talk about how this information is useful to them. You would hope over time that would get some kids to say, oh, this is so useful, I really want to do it as a profession. So in STEM, I really want to go into STEM because now I see the link and I want to be able to do X, and it becomes part of their identity. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an engineer. I want to be an agricultural advisor, and then the course material becomes even more useful to them. So that's one way to sort of think about, if you've got utility value and attainment value, what can you do in terms of structuring the activities that the kids do to make it seem more useful to them, other than letting them pass the test at the end of the week. So you want to make it personally useful. So that's one thing that has worked. The identity stuff is people are doing interventions that sort of build on the utility, but as I said, take it one step farther. Could I imagine myself as a agricultural advisor? What would that job look like? So you're giving them information about how the field that they could go into is linked to what they're learning now, and getting them to think about themselves as being one of those people. That's going to be different in the class. So you're not going to want every one of them to come out wanting to be a doctor. So you'd want to make sure that you spend time talking about lots of different occupations. So in the STEM classes, you can bring in videos of people doing different occupations. You can give them a chance to talk to people who are in different occupations. That becomes easier, so a lot of programs have gotten started here in the States where the students do a summer camp around science. And they come in the summer and they stay there and they learn from someone where they actually get to see what's going on. So in some cases, some of the big industries have gotten involved in this, where the students actually come to the place that the work is done, and they get to actually shadow someone who is this kind of profession. And that's sort of another way you can begin to get them to thinking about, could I be that thing? And then giving them lots of options so they know, this is the range of options that I have. What would I have to do to get here? What would I have to do to get here? So it's building ideas of role models and success experiences that make the field become more real to them personally. So that's another thing, to make the field more real to them personally. Social interaction, any way that you can get kids talking to each other about the subject matter is going to increase interest, because talking to your friends is interesting. So anything you can do, rather than having them all sit and work individually, get them to work together on projects. And there's getting to be more and more projects available online that teachers can use. So when I was in the Peace Corps in Ghana, they put together a packet of it for us, of experiments that could be done with what's available in a village and what the kids could do pretty easily in a group themselves. So I was able to have experiments every week. And just knowing these existed, the kids got really interested, because they were able to go and find the information themselves rather than reading in a book. So that's very empowering to help get more people interested. One person, Montessori, who developed a set of skills for K-6 schools, or preschool to K-6, she talks about the fact that you should set up materials that allow the kids to discover things. And one thing she said is, don't take the discovery away from them. Don't tell them the answer. Let them discover it. But make sure that they have the materials, so that's where the capitals come in. Make sure that the classroom has the materials, that if they manipulate them and play with them, they will find the answer. And they've developed a whole bunch of mechanisms that you can do that. One more example that I think is really important is a study that was done in Texas. It's called the Coca-Cola study. And they were having trouble with young kids, first and second graders, learning to read. And they also knew that they had a lot of kids who made it to seventh grade, and they couldn't read at the seventh grade level. What did they do? They took the seventh graders at the seventh grade who couldn't read at the seventh grade, but could read at the second grade level, and made them tutors of kids in first and second grade. So rather than saying to them, you're dumb, you can't read, you say to them, we need help with first graders. And they can read better than first graders. So they paired them up like siblings, and the older kids tutored the younger kids. Now this is easy to do in Africa because many of the schools are small, they're in the same region, so you can actually have the kids who are in the older grades work with the kids in the younger grades. And the amazing thing was that those kids who couldn't read in the 7th grade, by 1 year of tutoring a first grader, they could read at the 5th grade level, 6th grade level. They taught themselves to read because they needed to read to help their younger students. And that changed they now were no longer a problem for the school, they were an asset for the school. And this goes into this, they became to see themselves as a teacher, as a helper, not as somebody who's failing. And that changed their whole orientation to why it was important that they learned now to catch up and to read. In this in this particular study, it was an amazing study. This group of, the way they found these kids to be tutors is they had the junior high school teachers pick those kids who they thought would never finish high school. So they were kids who were in trouble, who were reading below level, doing math below level, and they said, that's who we're going to have tutor. Usually people take the best students to be the tutors. They took the kids who were better than the first graders, but were not doing well themselves in their own grade. Out of this class that they did this with, the first one, everyone graduated from high school, and most of them went on to college. So these were kids that the school had given up on and thought there was no chance they would ever catch up. But you shifted the way the adults thought of them by giving them something useful to do. And this cross-age tutoring is just incredibly powerful because it changes the whole way the kids think about school. And then the younger kids say, oh, when I get to the 6th grade, I'm going to be able to tutor kids. So they have a vision, a developmental vision that says, I can't do it now.
Which is not static.
Right. It's not permanent. I'm learning. By the time I get there, I'll be able to be a teacher. And they see it in their world. In families and on farms, that's what happens all the time. Because the family uses everybody that they can use. So the younger kids, when I was in Ghana, the kids would all carry water on their heads.
The same back home when I was young.
Yeah. So the younger kids would carry a little can with a little bit of water. Probably none of it made it home, but that didn't matter. They were learning to be a family member. And they were learning that they will get better at this. So that's what's important. They're part of the group. They don't have expertise yet. They will get expertise, and the system is set up that way.
Yeah. What do you think about, thank you, what do you think about an extension, agriculture extension? Because your theory, stated expectancy-value theory, has been used to different fields, education mostly. So now, when I thought about to take it into agriculture extension back home in Rwanda, I was lucky because I was having a faculty member near Nobrok, and also I was connected with you, so just to get language. So extension field, there is a need of social science theories.
Absolutely.
So why this field has been not using social theories, and what do you think can be done differently?
Well, I don't know why, because it's not my field. A historian should write that, should find that out. I think it's probably because it's a very agriculture is dealing more with application. So theory doesn't matter, but well-informed theory can inform practice a lot. And the reason it hasn't so far is because people are siloed. They're in their field, and they aren't extending out their field. So you are a path breaker, and a path maker and a path breaker. And we need those kinds of people. But like you said, at Purdue, they're closing that school down. That's terrible. That's terrible, because it isn't that Indiana doesn't need people who can help think about agriculture as a setting in which you can think about achievement and success and getting better and effort and making choices. I mean, that all of that is relevant. I haven't been, well, Alan and I have been more in education. I wasn't trained in education. I'm a psychologist. He was trained more in education. I happen to do it because it's an easy laboratory for me to study what I'm interested in. But it is also in the United States being used in sports. So in sports training, in sports programs for kids, and thinking about what's likely to be the best training programs. How do you get kids interested in it? I think it's appropriate to all fields, and maybe now it will become more useful. I mean, it depends on people learning about it and it passing.
Yeah, it was very useful because most of the publication I have been reading, done by many different people, mostly in Africa, it's about demographic, not psychometric variables. So then when I meet you, when we discussed it, I was having a language. It's very hard to me today to tell me, Emable, don't go with motivation theory, don't go with psychology, because it helps me to understand what motivated that person. Even the 6 years old child, how you can just present to them something, then they say, no, I want this. So motivation, in my understanding, it was not limited by educated people. Formal education, it's needed
everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I agree. And it's so fundamental to human understanding human behavior. I don't know how it could not be more emphasized. You know, here at UCI, we have a teacher training program that doesn't teach a single course on motivation. And you go talk to teachers, and you say, what would you like to know how to do better? They would say, motivate my kids. And I say, well, did you get any motivation courses? No. Nobody ever talked to me about that other than the kids are hard to manage. So they define it in terms of management as opposed to, here are some tools. Here are some ideas. Think about them. Talk with each other. I mean, get the teachers talking with each other about how they could implement some things that we know work, that get kids motivated. And teachers tend to talk about it in terms of how do you better present the material. That's not the point. It's how you present the material, not what material you present. It's about how do you motivate kids and to get interested in what you're teaching. Means what I think the teachers have to figure out is, what do I want to teach? How do I get the kids interested in learning? Two main questions. You answer those two questions, you're home free. Then it's easy.
It's the same way when you talk about your experience in Uganda, when you saw their culture. The same to me when I was talking to you. You said, okay, when we talk about the community capitals, culture capitals, human capital, and social capital, considering the culture is very, very important. Many international organizations have been funding a lot of projects in different countries, especially developing countries. But when you see the outcome,
they're not good,
it's not good.
Yeah.
Why? Most of the time they have been coming and they just say, okay, we need to do this.
Yes. And that never works.
It's like top-down approach.
Yeah, it never works. We know that.
Without knowing what motivates these people.
That's right.
What is their culture?
Yeah. How can you use it in a way that's respectful? I mean, you have to know a lot about the culture. So having grown up in the culture is a good thing. But you also need to be, how can I use that to produce an outcome that it wasn't designed to produce? Because the culture is older than what we're trying to teach kids now. So You have to be creative and, well, okay, now I know that. How do I do that in this culture? In a way that's respectful of the culture and takes advantage of all of the cultural knowledge that the kids have or the adults have. I mean, that's not those things aren't a problem. Those things are assets. And a good intervention is going to take advantage of them.
So, when I was doing a study, I was reflecting, even yesterday I was talking to you regarding the culture, social, and human capital. So, what do you think about some intervention, what they can do when it comes just come up with new innovation? Because sometimes you can see culture as negative. So what do you think can be done so that they can consider culture and social without just...
Well, you have to have people from the culture involved with the design of the intervention. I mean, people from people in the West are bad. They think we know everything, and we think we can go in and do things that work here, there, and that doesn't work. I mean, it has to be a collaborative, and it has to be very well thought through. So some places, there's some work here. I got very interested at one point about how do you prepare the place for the intervention you want to do. So how do you get buy-in from the teachers or the supervisors or the local chieftain or the elders? Because until you get buy-in from that group, you're not going to get any success with a program that comes in that they're going to resist, which they will do. I mean, that's natural human reaction. Why are you here telling me how to do this? So you have to make it a collaborative from the beginning, and you have to spend the time so that everyone understands what you're doing and where you're going completely.
What if when those resources are existing are there, why they're not including that new innovation? What can you do? For example, you have existing resources, social network, culture is there, then you come up with new innovation. Why the capitals they are there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't do this. So I'm giving you thoughts about if I were going to do it, how would I do it? I mean, as I said, I think it takes. You have to have buy-in, and a lot of times the people who are going to pay for the intervention don't understand that. They just want the intervention to start, and they want results at the end. They don't even know what results they want, and they haven't thought through whether the design of the study, the intervention, actually would produce that result. So, for example, we have after-school programs here that will be focused on the kids coming and doing photography, or doing sports, or doing pottery. So they're coming to do something that we hope what they will like. It will produce certain skill sets, and then we test them to see whether they're doing better in school. Well, why would learning pottery help you do better on a school test? The intervention has nothing to do with the outcome, and then you're surprised when it didn't have its effect. Well, the intervention was not in fact designed to produce that result. And you wonder, how could smart people do that? They do it all the time. They think, oh, well, we'll make kids happy, we'll make kids healthy, and they'll know to do better in school. No, they'll do better in school when you teach them better. I mean, that you have to design it to be relevant. And it takes time to... So I'm giving you a lot of talk from other people I've talked with. So I was in Michigan, and they were trying to do something to get girls more likely to go into math and to deal with gender issues. And they had a woman who was designed to do it. And she said, look, we are not going to measure anything for 5 years, because it's going to take 5 years to produce a change. And she was right. You spend the first 2 years just getting the adults to understand that this is important to do, and they have input in the way to do it. And because she took that very seriously, those first 2 years are very critical, but no foundation will pay for it. So that's a big barrier. They expect you to introduce and be able to evaluate things quickly. So that's true even within a culture. So even the interventions we do here don't have effects because we didn't take time to make sure that the interveners, in fact, bought into it. I mean, they thought it was a good idea. So someone who goes in that field and does it right can have a big impact.
But even if it takes time, but the sustainability is very important.
That's right. But if you get them on board, that increases the likelihood they'll keep doing it when you don't give them any more money, because they've seen the advantage of it. A program that just comes in and brings in people to do the teaching can have a very short-term positive effect. It won't be sustained, because when they leave, it's like food. Within the field of intervention, they talk about vitamin models versus what is the other one? Well, let's say skill acquisition models. So there's the model that if we go in and fix it once, it's fixed forever. Well, that's not the way it works. You need to have a vitamin model, that every day you have to have the vitamin. So giving me a vitamin when I'm in the 6th grade doesn't mean I never need another vitamin or food. I mean, you have to lay the groundwork for sustainability as part of the plan. That makes it more expensive. That makes it more difficult to do. Is it worth it? Well, we've now done the other for long enough to know, yes, it's worth it. Because otherwise you're spending a lot of money for very short-term effects.
Thank you so much. As we are towards the end, because I wish we can continue because it's very interesting. So, what advice can you give the future generation or the researchers? You did your best with your colleagues. What do you think is not yet done that can be done? So, what the advice can you give in general?
You can answer that in so many ways. At the personal level, I get very bothered by people being motivated by money and prestige. So I see very young scientists, not you, picking things because they think that's the best way to make money. They will probably make money. Will they be happy in their career? No, they won't. I wish more of them would take time to figure out what it is they really care about. Figure out their identity. I mean, I think identity is very important. Take time and figure it out, and then do something that lets you enact that identity. I was lucky. Nobody forced me to do anything. I didn't go to college with an extrinsic goal. I thought I would do something entirely different when I got out. And I found a way to spend the rest of my life in school. My father told me once, he said, if anybody could figure out a way to stay in school the rest of their lives, it would be you. And he was right. I was motivated to learn. I was motivated to collaborate. I was motivated to think things through. And I did. And being an academic lets you do that. Every day I say, oh my God, I'm so glad I found this career. Because I had never talked to a professor before I got to college, and I then didn't talk to a professor until I got to graduate school. So I don't know where I thought professors came from, but I certainly had no image in my mind of this is how you get to be a professor, because nobody in my family was ever a professor. But I happened to make the right next decision. So all I did was focus on, this is what I need to do next. Did what I want. What do I do next? And I was able to, I mean, I'm amazed, because now a lot of us that are older get together and talk about our careers. And an amazing number of people tell the same story. Maybe they started out wanting to do X. They soon discovered that isn't what they wanted to do, and they just paid attention and did the next best thing. And they tried to do what they wanted to do, and they did. They're lucky. They were lucky. There's so many things. I mean, one of the things we absolutely have to do is to teach kids about the options. I mean, they're not going to go on in STEM if they don't know STEM as a job. And how would they learn it if we didn't teach it to them? They're not going to learn about it hanging around with the basketball court. I mean, we have to actually, adults have to be proactive in helping young people know what the options are and how to make choices. And it's worth taking the time to teach them, and we don't. So I think the countries in Africa have a unique opportunity to get education right in a way that the Western cultures don't have it right, because in many ways you're at the pioneering stage of what you're going to do to help your young people become leaders in the next generation.
Thank you so much. It's amazing to talk to you. It's amazing to spend time with you. I think it's not the only one. I think we will continue to have this conversation.
Absolutely.
Because, in Africa, I don't know, people, they like to watch videos than reading books. So it will help many people, and also it will help other researchers. So thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I'm very happy, even taking a flight from Indiana to California to come to see you. I remember some people were asking me, "Imagine, is it only to meet her?" Yes, I want to see her in person. I didn't have in mind to have this conversation, no. Then when I was reading your book, I said, no, I have many questions. I have many questions to ask her. Then when I spoke to other professor, I said, Margaret, no, it's really good to have that kind of discussion. Even you can think more how it can be just series that can help other people, because we have been having only one way of writing papers. It's good, but also there is another way how people they can document.
That's right.
By watching videos.
And we have the videos now. They're so available. And like you say, the iPhones are almost 100% people have some kind of smartphone. That opens up the world in a way that's unique to this generation. I mean, they can watch everything.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. I learned so much from you. So
I am very grateful for being mentored by you, and also your being humble, making me comfortable. So I'm grateful.
my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. Wow, I